But the biggest talking point of the weekend continues to be the opposition People's National Party. Last Thursday evening, Nationwide described the party as descending into civil war. The Sunday Gleaner yesterday headlined PNP at war. A PNP top-rank executive, Steve Ashley, posted on Facebook that the party is in implosion mode. Imploding meaning it has turned on itself. And this morning, I heard the party leader, Mark Golding, publicly coming to the defense of his embattled General Secretary and describing Dr. Campbell as an upstanding and fine individual. Mr. Golding has gone out on a limb, yes, in his defense of Dr. Campbell, which makes him politically vulnerable. Because as we speak, none of us don't know what are the facts, whether there's any basis to the allegations, whether the allegations can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. We don't know. Yes? So it is incumbent on all of us to be very nuanced and measured in our pronouncements. Time for the break. So, on the weekend, the PNP president, Mark Golding, came out in full support of Dr. Campbell, saying that Dr. Campbell is a fine and upstanding person, and there's nothing to suggest otherwise. I don't know, but a week in politics is a long time, Mr. Golding. And you have to give yourself some room, just in case. Just in case. And when all your 4 vice presidents, your deputy chair, say, listen, let us be cautious here. Yeah? And you defy that and go down the wicket. Well, in terms of raw politics now, Mark has gone out on a limb for Dayton. He owns this. He's now tied to Dayton's fortune and makes himself quite vulnerable to what we don't know is coming. We don't know. I think that is very, very politically risky, and frankly, politically dunce. Yes. This is how Ricardo Brooks reported the statement from the PNP president on the weekend.
All 4 vice presidents of the 83-year-old party are alleged to have told the General Secretary he should go. But the opposition leader and party president is standing by Dr. Campbell. Mr. Golding, who endorsed Dr. Campbell for the post of General Secretary, says so far there's nothing that implicates him.
Nothing has been brought so far that warrants any action on his part, and it would be a disservice to the struggle of the women in this country if there could be a manipulation of somebody's life to his detriment on the basis of false accusations that have not been substantiated. If those accusations are proven to be true, or even if sufficiently credible evidence is brought to warrant a charge, then that's a different thing. That is not the situation here. And I'm asking Jamaica to think about it, because today for me, tomorrow for you. Same knife for stick sheep, stick goat. Justice must be at the center of what we do.
The opposition leader says he's instructed the party's legal advisor to write to the police asking them to investigate the circumstances surrounding 3 alleged statements that were attached to defense documents filed by PNP activist Karen Cross in a defamation suit brought by Dr. Campbell.
I am asking to look into the circumstances of these 3 statements. Do these people exist? Why was it not reported? It's a criminal offense under Section 6(4) of the Child Care and Protection Act. If you are made aware of abuse of a child and you don't report it, that's a criminal offense, a serious offense too. Justices of the peace have signed statements, including in those statements allegations of that nature, and they never reported it to the police. The accuser is also potentially liable for not doing that. That must be investigated. But if those people substantiate or verify or otherwise ratify what was said, and the police decide that there's a basis for charge, so be it. But until that time, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing in place now that would warrant taking action against an otherwise upstanding and fine individual.
Mr. Golding says the letter to the police was sent last Thursday following the issuing of a statement by his party on the matter. Our news center revealed last week that PNP activist Karen Cross had filed documents in the Supreme Court which purportedly include statements from 3 women who alleged that Campbell had sexual relations with them while they were minors. The alleged statements are said to have been witnessed by justices of the peace. Dr. Campbell has strongly denied the allegations. Ricardo Brooks, Nationwide News.
So, the president of the party could not have gone any further in defending Dr. Campbell. And in doing so, Dr. Campbell, or Mr. Golding rather, is not only bucking significant sections of public opinion, but he's also bucking significant sections in his party. And I've always made a distinction between the legal and the political. The rules of the court of law are fundamentally different from the rules of engagement in the square, the court of public opinion. And as a political leader, you have to know how to traverse both courts. And I think Mr. Golding has gone way out on a limb. He could have defended Dr. Campbell and at the same time give himself some room, just in case, because frankly, where we are this Monday morning, whether you believe Dayton or you believe Karen, is not a moment. The court will decide that, and that's going to take some time. Yes? Whether we believe the witness statements are defective or strong is of very little moment now. What is clear is that the General Secretary of the opposition has this cloud, thick, dark cloud, hanging over his head, which will, if he continues in that job, render his performance, especially his ability and credibility in articulating the message of the opposition, useless, ineffective. People are people. If there's an issue related to gender-based violence or generally violence against women and children, Dayton cannot be the messenger until this matter is cleared. So I think the party has landed itself at a place where it is playing a very, very high-risk game. Very high risk, very risky. And the fact is, the PNP is a party right now in name only. It's really two factions. Two factions who, I've said here before, who are so bitterly divided with each other. They hate each other. Some of them literally hate each other. That's how deep the divide is in what's left of the PNP at this hour. They hate each other. They can't abide each other. And a lot of comrades and Jamaicans, well-thinking Jamaicans who understand the need for a viable, effective two-party system, would not be laughing at this, would not be enjoying this. And for those who are too young, between 1990, 30 years ago, after Edward Seaga lost the February 1989 general election to Michael Manley's PNP, in February, by the following year, 1990, the party was in turmoil. That's when the Gang of Five emerged. By 93, 94, Bruce Golding had walked out of the Labour Party. Yes, because it was going nowhere under Seaga's leadership. The Labour Party had become unelectable by the mid-1990s, and it did not recover for more than 10 years. It never won another election until 2007, and it started to recover after Seaga decided to go in 2005, and Bruce Golding returned for the December 2002 general elections. Just in time for the December 2002 elections, when the GLP put in its best general election performance in about 4 elections. Yes? 34-26. PNP 34, GLP 26. Check that for me, producer. The December 2002 elections. By then the writing was on the wall. The GLP was reuniting around Golding's leadership. That was 2002 elections. Golding became leader in 2005. And within 2 years, he led the GLP to victory in September 2007. Divided parties don't win elections in Jamaica. And the PNP is as divided as the GLP then. I hear Paul Burke saying they have been here before, but what Paul didn't say, when the PNP were divided to the point where they turned on each other, beat each other, I remember a meeting out in St. Catherine, I think it was Osemati School, when comrades turned on each other and comrades had to flee. But what was the difference then? The difference was the disunity and the division was over ideological reasons. There were genuine differences over what political path to take. this PNP of 2021, which is at war with itself, is not divided over ideological differences, what policies and programs to pursue. They are divided over personalities and the pursuit of power. The pursuit of power and personalities, which is far more difficult to resolve. And what this Dayton Campbell Karen Cross, very, very nasty affair is about, the PNP needs some leaders yet unknown who will be able to bring the two sides back to the point where they are at least speaking with each other.